Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dockery Docket podcast, the podcast where we ask the tough questions. Like, why in the world do so many people want to kill the President of the United States? It just doesn't make sense. So there seems to be a problem in this country that we just can't ignore anymore. As of right now, Donald Trump has survived 2 assassination attempts. One at Mar-a-Lago, where a gunman got onto Mar-a-Lago, and luckily Donald Trump was in Washington, D.C., and one just a few days ago at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where luckily the person was apprehended in the lobby. As a private citizen, along with campaigning to be president ever since 2016, Donald Trump has survived a handful of assassination attempts and also regular threats on his life, including in 2016 when some guy tried to rush the stage and get Donald Trump. In Las Vegas, someone tried to steal an officer's gun to shoot President Trump. There were several ricin attacks on Donald Trump along with his family. And there were plenty of times where someone thought there was a gun, someone thought that there was a threat, and Donald Trump was escorted out of that event. And of course, we can't forget about Donald Trump almost getting shot in Butler, Pennsylvania, where he was inches away from actually dying. This is why I have this shirt on. Let me get my shoes, because it is a reminder every single time of Donald Trump taking a bullet for this country. But now we have this situation that happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. All that we've seen since Donald Trump took that escalator down in 2016 is constant violence against Donald Trump and the left longing for him to somehow get brutally murdered and killed. The problem is that the left is absolutely obsessed with wanting their political opponents to be killed. The problem is that the left wants violence and they want their political opponents to be killed. For years, they have longed for somebody to do the thing that must be done. And when the assassination attempt failed in Butler, Pennsylvania, so many people online were commenting on videos saying, how could he miss? And when an assassination attempt fails, we see people online commenting, oh, that's too bad. Oh, I thought today was the day. Or the classic, how could that kid miss? He had such an open shot, talking about the shooting in Butler, Pennsylvania. Constantly, the left has called for violence, and they justified this violence by calling us conservatives racist, sexist, homophobic, pedophile protectors, and also fake Christians or not real Christians. These constant slurs being thrown around and name-calling has led people to believe that people like myself, little old me, are evil, terrible people. The shooter in the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting believed all of these terrible, evil lies that the left has spread for so long. And it led him to want to shoot Donald Trump along with other major officials. As he wrote a manifesto, and it claimed, turning the other cheek is for when you yourself are oppressed. I'm not the person raped in a detention center. I'm not the fisherman executed without trial. And he continued by saying, I'm not a school kid blown up, or a child starved, or a teenage girl abused by the many criminals in this administration. Turning the other cheek when someone else is oppressed is not Christian behavior. It is complicity in the oppressor's crimes. He also said, I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and a traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. Which, of course, he was referring to Donald Trump. In this moment, Donald Trump recently had a 60-minute where the interviewer was like, oh, you think he's talking about you? Well, of course he was talking about Donald Trump. Who else was he talking about? Pete Hegseth? And all of this crap is what the left has been preaching for years. Donald Trump is an evil Hitler, Nazi, not a real Christian. He raped women. He raped girls. He was involved with Epstein. And it's all justification for wanting to kill him. And I feel like I've said this in a video before. I probably have. And I feel like I've said this in a video before. And I feel like I've said this in a video before, but if you continue calling people a fascist, then more than likely that person is going to want to kill that person. That's why there's justification for people saying, oh, well, you can punch a Nazi. Well, the question is, who's a Nazi? Well, apparently I'm a Nazi because I believe in conservatism. Now, I feel like I've said this in a video before, but if you continue calling people a fascist or a Nazi and saying, well, you have a right to punch a Nazi, and you even have a right to kill a Nazi, well, who are the Nazis? Apparently, it is anyone that disagrees with the left, like me, like other conservatives, when we are clearly not Nazis at all. And my question is, when is this all going to end? When are we going to see the left actually come out and say, listen, this guy does not represent us? This guy is terrible, this guy is evil, and I'm so glad that the President of the United States is safe. Not, oh man, how could the guy miss? Oh man, I thought today was the day. Why aren't people calling this guy out? When will the Democrats actually go out and call out this violence and say, hey, we need to stop this, turn down the temperature? Because instead of actually calling it out, they are promoting it. As recently, the New York Times promoted Hassan Piker, a leftist streamer who has called for the streets to be overrun with capitalist blood. And he also claimed that someone needs to kill Rick Scott, who is the senator of Florida. Along with that, he was also caught electrocuting his dog because the dog wouldn't sit while he was doing his stream. This guy is absolutely nuts. But all of this is fine, but if you misgender someone, then you're causing a hate crime and you might lose your job and you might get banned from social media. Anyway, there was an interview where he said this.
And you actually wrote about this, and it was a great video where you talked about, someone has to do it. See, when I say that, everyone knows exactly what I mean. That which is, I think that shows that there is a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, and untapped potential.
This guy is very popular among the left, especially the young left who eats up all of this communist bullcrap. And Hassan Piker, along with other people, have led to a rise in leftists accepting violence against their political enemies. As according to a YouGov poll, 22% of liberals under 44 say it's okay to feel happy when a political opponent dies, compared to just 6% of conservatives at that same age. It should be 0% across the board, okay? We should not be happy when a political opponent dies ever, but 22% is absolutely crazy, and we've seen this trend happen over and over again. More Democrats are supporting Donald Trump being killed, and Elon Musk being killed, and other officials being killed. It is getting worse as days and years go by. Yes, Trump is divisive. Yes, he posts silly memes sometimes, and yes, he can be vulgar. But to want the President of the United States to be dead is just wrong on all levels. And these people, these radical leftists, think that if Donald Trump is killed, then everything will just be all hunky-dory, and they'll think that conservatives will come over to their side. No, we're gonna hate you more if you kill Donald Trump. Listen, as you know, I was not a fan of President Joe Biden. I did not like him as a president. Maybe I liked him as a person more, but I think his presidency was awful. And when he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, I made sure to make a video about it and say, wow, this was sad, and I hope that he gets the help that he needs so then he can recover and have a good, long life. And when Ilhan Omar was attacked at a press conference, I wrote on Facebook that this wasn't right and I hope that she was okay. Do we see this from the left? Do we see the left calling out their own and saying, hey guys, you need to knock it off? And you need to stop trying to kill the President of the United States. And I mean, it's crazy for a party that absolutely hates guns. They love to use guns against their political rivals. And I mean, for a party that is full of tolerance and love for all sorts of people, they love to hate their political enemies. And heck, conservatives can't even speak on college campuses without a bullet going through their neck. And you know what they did after that? It wasn't, oh, let's calm down the temperature, let's have a talk, and let's try and be more tolerant of each other. They cheered. They celebrated. They were happy. It is absolutely sick and disgusting, and we need to figure out how to fix this problem. We can't live in a society where half the country wants the other half of the country dead. It is impossible, and it will lead to more issues in the future. And you know, for the last couple of episodes, I've been trying to understand the other point of view. I've been trying to look at the left and say, okay, what are they trying to say? I've been trying to be neutral in all of my episodes, but this one I can't be neutral on because I don't understand why leftists want to kill the president. I don't get it at all, and I want them to stop doing it. So we're lucky that no one got hurt at the White House correspondent shooting, as the only casualty was a Secret Service officer's bulletproof vest, which luckily he's going to make a speedy recovery. And I hate to say it, but I just believe that things are going to get worse. I believe 100% that the left is going to continue their evil, violent rhetoric for the rest of Donald Trump's term. And I mean, I don't like to make this prediction, but we will probably see another assassination attempt on Donald Trump, and I pray that it's not successful. But if it is successful, then we know who's going to be partying in the streets, we know who's going to be excited, we know who's going to praise it online, and that is the left. This all has to stop. And sometimes I think, well, maybe I should just go and join the Democratic Party because they never seem to have this issue at all. They are praised in the media, celebrities absolutely love them, and their scandals are definitely swept under the rug or seen as things that aren't that big of a deal. So we can do that. We can give up and go over to the Democratic side where things seem to be easier, or we can keep on fighting for what we believe in and understand that they are attacking us because we are right. Even though it is hard and it isn't easy, we have to continue to fight for what's true and what we believe in and never surrender. And with that, I just want to thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Dockery Docket. And until next time, like my mom always says, be good, be kind, be loving, goodbye.